Talk then.
Oh, sorry. Very bad. It's a bad cues.
We haven't done this for a while, so
Yeah.
a bit rusty.
Hi guys, it's time to talk here with Lewis and Reiss.
Hi.
Sorry, I should have let you introduce yourself.
It's alright.
Don't worry about it up. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety from going back into like work, social life, things like that, especially coming out of lockdown, because let's face it, we've all been cooped up for about 15 months.
About that.
Is it more than that?
I think it's about 15 months.
I think, I've lost count.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Far too long.
you've got this Indian variant, I think it's now called Delta, and then you've got
Oh
the South African variant, Kent variant, I don't know.
The Dundee variant.
Name a place, and yes, probably a variant. But all seriousness though, obviously some people are going to be super threatened over, obviously of course coronavirus still exists.
Yeah.
It isn't going anywhere, let's be honest. And obviously you have to go back to work. So speak to your workplace, because obviously we're going to have measures in place for like having COVID, sessions, etc., but that doesn't actually stop you getting COVID.
Yeah, I mean, like my work, we've got loads of things in place, so social distance, like in the classrooms and stuff, and there's screens everywhere, but as you say, it's not preventative.
Yeah, you can't prevent it because it stays on services for long. And let's be honest, a workplace is never going to be 100% clean. Because you know, you might go to the bathroom, for example, just used to it, and they'll have a wee or whatever, he has COVID, goes, touches the tap, next person touches the tap, and when he turns it off,
Yeah.
you know, it's not foolproof, is it?
No.
Let's be honest, when you're in a workplace, most people might not, well, some people, not most, might be like, don't believe in it, it's all government, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
On the other end, there's people dying from it.
Exactly.
The world's still not recovered. I think India's still struggling, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's not going anywhere. And yes, we've got vaccines, etc., but the vaccines are not a cure, they don't prevent it, they just give you a taste of it so you can build up the antibodies, so you don't suffer the effects as worse as you would.
Because you can still get it when you've got the vaccine, can't you?
Yeah, so it's just to like, if you do get it, the harmful effects you get, like, you know, the breathlessness and all that stuff, it just reduces it, your body's built up an immunity to it. But yeah, so make sure you speak to your workplace, let them know how you're feeling, because obviously some people might be petrified to go back to the workplace, because obviously you've been at home 15 months.
Yeah. That's the thing, social anxiety can come into it, like when you're so used to just being in your house with your housemates or whoever you live with, and then you have to go back into an office setting
with multiple people from different households, you don't know what they're doing when they get home, who they're mingling with.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can be as safe as possible. Like you can do everything in your power to make sure that you're being safe and doing the right things. But then you've got other people in the office that might not be doing that and might never have been doing that from the very start. And so you've got to make sure that you're doing still everything that you can to make sure that you're safe and all of that. It's just so.
Even if you're not stressful about it, just thinking about the stress of someone else. If someone's stressful about COVID, and obviously there's people out there who have to go back to work, but they've lost loved ones and moms, dads, grandparents, they're going to be hyper alert to the situation and be like proper OCD about it.
And so when people aren't kind of taking things seriously or doing the right things, as you say, if they've lost family members, if they've lost people, they're going to be really sensitive about it and make sure that everything is done in the right way.
Yeah, that's the issue you have here. Because now, some workplaces I work might be like, you have to come in, health and safety, because obviously when you, I don't know if you've been involved in it, but you have to do like evaluations for like your safety at home, like your table and all that stuff. And let's be honest, you're settled now. If you've been working from home, you're settled. You don't really find it necessary to leave your house to go to work if you could do your job from home. But then obviously you got the stresses from COVID, believing you don't want to risk it, etc., so just make sure you speak to your workplace, let them know how you're feeling. And if you're feeling fine about the whole situation, just go back to work, don't worry about it. Just turn this off, don't even listen. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I think another thing that we can do, like everyone can do this, is like vary routines. So obviously being at home for however many months, like 15, 18, whatever, you've got yourself into a certain routine and the way of doing things, getting up at this time, doing this, doing that. But I think what we need to do to kind of help ourselves is vary those routines and make sure that if you, let's say, got up at 8:15, you start work at 9, maybe, if it's feasible obviously, get up maybe a bit earlier, maybe go for a walk, or maybe like do some exercise or cook something or do something that isn't something that you would have done originally, because humans are kind of creatures of habit and creatures of like routine, and it's hard for a human to get out of a routine into another one. But when they do get into a new routine, it then becomes easier.
Yeah, they get used to it after.
So someone who's not used to waking up early, for example, if they start to wake up early and do it a lot, then they get used to waking up early. And then it becomes kind of part of their new routine, and then it's no longer hard for them to do that.
So they've adapted to the new routine and new way of life, etc.
That's the thing, it's adaptability. So I think starting a new routine or varying routines would be a good thing, because then it will allow people to kind of get their mind elsewhere, and they're not just thinking about, okay, this is what I would have done in COVID. Now they can think, right, now that we're out of all of that, I can set up this new routine, and that can become the new normal. I know everyone uses that phrase, but that can become their new normal, I guess.
Yeah, because the end goal for everyone is to have life the way it was, and that's what you want. Like some people probably haven't gone back to a gym now, for example, or haven't gone to a pub or gone out for a meal just because the way the media made it out, it's like if you get it, you know. I think everyone's starting to realise that yes, it's a serious illness, but it doesn't mean it's not life-threatening.
Yeah, not for everyone, and that's the thing, isn't it? So I think getting yourselves into this new routine, this new normal, will really, really help.
100%.
And I think that can alleviate some kind of anxieties for loads of different people.
Yeah, it's stresses and the fear of actually, like, because obviously mingling with people and you can see why some people. That's why it's key to pace yourself. And this goes every aspect of going out and meeting people. So say this weekend or the next weekend, before the 21st, when everything's basically a free-for-all, go to the park. If you like the park, just walk around by yourself and go to the shops. And if you get anxiety or fear from going to that shop, just go to a different shop. And then have a plan of action. Like, I'm going to that shop to get milk and bread. Don't dilly-dally and go, I want to just get what you need to get. Just train yourself back up. And that's the same for people that are going back to the pub. Going out, you know what I'm saying, all you fucking druggos out there. You know what I'm saying? Remember, like, your tolerance to everything is going to be a lot less than it was back in your prime. You've been out of the game, let's be honest, for about a year. But obviously people have been cheating because obviously this little period you've been out to go pubs. So your tolerance is going to be way less than it was. So just pace yourself with drinking, all the other things you won't be doing, good or bad. And then remember, also if you go back to the gym, if you haven't been back already, you're going to be weak. You're going to have to start again, I'm sorry. And that's the truth. And I think that doing all those kind of things helps to build up a tolerance. So it helps you to, like, if you do those things that will like challenge yourself, things that you wouldn't have necessarily done the first time, or things that you might find hard to do when you're first coming out of these things, that will challenge yourself and that will help you to build up that tolerance. And then after a while, again, going back to routines and everything, that will then become the routine, that will then be fine. As you say, if you go into a shop and you just think, right, I'm going to go into that shop, I'm only getting milk and bread, right? Then maybe the next time you get milk, bread and butter. And the time after that, you just add on to it each and every little time, and then soon you can do a full shop. Soon you can go into 3 different shops as well, as opposed to just like 1 or 2. So I think it's really important that we do these things to help challenge ourselves so that we can end up, you know, in the end, whether things go back to exactly how they used to be or a kind of life that is normal enough for us to handle. But think about it though, thinking about it seriously though, how dirty were we before all this? Like, how dirty were we as people? Like, I'll be honest, every time I went to the toilet, I didn't wash my hands all the time, I'll be honest. Now I do, obviously. But then, like, on the bus, think about it.
Buses are disgusting. The amount of people that I've seen, like, just sneezing without covering their mouths and then just, like, going around touching things, it's just...
But just think about you go to, like, a pub or something and everything was just, like, we've all been to a pub and the table's sticky. The floor's sticky.
Yeah.
Everyone's been to snobs. If you're on Birmingham, you've been to snobs, you stick to the floor. It's just grim. But then, like think about nightclubs really. You've been lip-syncing random people.
For those who don't know what lip-sync is, it's kissing random people.
When you think about it, that's low-key grim.
It's not even low-key grim, it's...
High-key grim.
I mean, this is a long time ago, so no one judge me. Do you remember that time where we were both at that rave and we both kissed the same girl? We both kissed the same girl within, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, but basically, she just used us for our shoulders, and obviously, everyone that's had a bird on his shoulders or a guy on his shoulders, they get heavy after a bit, don't they?
Yeah.
Achy, man.
And then we put her down off our shoulders.
And as a thank you, she goes, dickhead. But you know what I'm saying? It's just disgusting.
Yeah. The things that we did as humans beforehand, as you say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we did that I think now, like, oh God, I couldn't imagine doing that.
Yeah.
I'd always wash my hands, but I wouldn't necessarily always wash with soap and, especially not wash for 20 seconds. I'd do one of those things where you run your hands under, dry it, that's done.
Sometimes when you use the soap, I put my hands under the cold water.
And that's the thing, all these different things that we did, we got into a routine of doing those.
Because we were trampy. It's just... When you think about it, we were grim, buses, trains, any public transport.
Taxis, literally anything.
Let's be honest, a taxi is another thing that's grim, because you literally get in a car with a stranger. You don't know what he's been doing, or she.
Breathing up the place and...
Coughing,
sneezing,
So when you're slowly getting back into normality, if he doesn't push it back another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You've mentioned that. Do you reckon he will?
I'll be honest, I think a lot of people are saying, well, kind of what's 2 weeks, We've been in lockdown for this long. A lot of people are saying that actually, if this 2 weeks is going to be beneficial, and that means that it's going to really bring the curve down, do it. But then there's obviously a lot of people on the other side, on the other bus, that are like, no, we've been in lockdown all this time. You said June 21st, let's stick it at June 21st. I also think it's going to affect businesses, because I think a lot of businesses have kind of accounted for the fact that they're going to reopen on the 21st. So nightclubs and things like that, they've put out on their marketing, we're back to normal from the 21st.
Yeah.
So if things are then pushed back an extra 2 weeks, they're going to have to change all of their marketing and change everything to account for that. So I don't know really where I fall.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Really, because you think as a country as a whole, we're all on edge now. Everyone's okay, because it's like when the first lockdown happened. We're expecting him to do it. We're we hope he doesn't. No. So I think he just needs to either bite the bullet tonight, because he sometimes was 6 o'clock, or
Yeah.
Is it, what time is it now? 45 minutes, never know.
So this is the thing, I think,
everyone's waiting in stress.
As much as I think there have been a lot of mistakes made.
Yes.
He's kind of in a position where he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. Because if he doesn't push it back to 2 weeks, there are going to be people in that other camp that are saying, oh well, you've opened things too early, blah blah blah. If he does push it back to 2 weeks, you've got those people saying, oh well, we've accounted for the 21st, so why have we pushed it back?
Can we push it back to what he first said? He says he wants all the vulnerable vaccinated. Remember?
Yes.
Now he's done more than that. It's coming down to 25s now. Under 30s, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally the more active population that's more susceptible is fully covered.
Yeah.
And all the vulnerable. So in theory, he has no leg to stand on. Yes, the COVID deaths 6, gone up by 6. You've opened up everything, literally Freefall now. The only thing that's going to be different is nightclubs.
Yeah.
And they're doing that test rave in Liverpool.
And it was all negative, wasn't it?
All negative.
So there we go.
So it can be done. The only problem is, it's down to the individuals that if they do test positive and that, I think they should implement something that if you're positive and you go out and about a club or something like that, and people get infected, you are liable.
Yeah, of course. And I think a lot of businesses as well, even when things, because I know that the restrictions then lift, it's no more social distancing, things like that. I think once things do reopen again, businesses need to have something in place that's okay, even though there's no social distancing, as a business owner, I still want you to be safe. I still want you to social distance. Although it's not illegal anymore, I still want you to social distance, because I don't want there to be any risk of this, that, or the other. I think there's a lot of businesses that are gonna keep face masks and keep social distancing to an extent.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of have to, because unless they know for a fact that everyone is safe, it's going to be really difficult to kind of get rid of things.
I reckon that they'll implement, even though I completely disagree with it, 100% disagree with it, COVID passports. Disagree with it, but I think some institutions or some places will be like, if you haven't got your COVID jab, not letting you in.
Yeah.
Just as a precaution, but...
And I can see why they would do that, obviously, but I'm in the same camp as you. It's like, I think it's unfair for you to say, well, actually, you can't come here because you've not had your jab, because for people like us that are under the age bracket or don't have health conditions or whatever, we're not like carers or things like that, we haven't had the jab because we can't have the jab yet, because the NHS is not allowing us to have the jab yet. So it's not that we've gone out of our way to say, oh, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, I don't want the jab. It's like, I can't get the jab.
I'm not allowed to get it. So for them to say to me, well, actually, you can't come here because you haven't got it, it's like, that's not any choice that I've made.
Yeah.
It's because I can't get it.
Big Boss doesn't want to stop me.
But I agree with you there. I think, I don't agree with the COVID passport thing, but I think a lot of businesses will have that. So.
Do you want the jab?
I do, because I want to go on holiday.
See, I honestly don't want the jab. My defence is, I'm pretty sure I would defeat the actual COVID. So why would I want the synthetic COVID? You know what I'm saying?
You defeat the actual COVID comes to you and like, come here then.
But I think my body's immune system is strong enough to fend off the actual COVID.
I just feel like, as you said, with the COVID passport thing, unless they completely eradicate it, like there's a lot of things that I can't do without a COVID jab, and so it's kind of just like, so that I don't limit myself, I just want to get it, just so that I can be like, right, okay, I've got it, so I can go and do these things that I want to do. I feel like I'm strong enough, like my body, my immune system is strong enough to fight it off if I got it, but because there are things that I can't do without the jab, I feel like actually...
If you've had, say we haven't had COVID, but if we did have COVID, and we beat it, why would you need the vaccine then? That is the flaw in the argument for the vaccine. I haven't got it, and I haven't had it, the vaccine or COVID, but as an individual that's in the middle, that's another concern, because I don't trust the vaccine. I know people are going to moan at me, but that's a stress as a person.
Yeah, each person's allowed their own opinion, and they're allowed to like not trust this, not trust that. Like, I'm as I say, the reason that I'm doing it is different to a reason that person over there might do it. The reason you don't want to do it is different to. No one can tell you how to think. No one can tell you what to think, and I feel like people are going to have opinions, but no one can tell you that your opinion is wrong because that's how you feel. Just like you could, like, no one can tell me that actually why you're getting the jab, because I'm getting it for my own personal reasons.
Because I want to go on holiday.
Yeah, because I want to do these things. So, obviously everyone's going to have an opinion, but
I think everyone just has their own different stresses when it comes to COVID, the vaccine, and just talk to someone. And especially with everything's opening back up now, you can hit us in the DMs, private or personal, all the time to talk on, in the comments below.
Anywhere. Well, I'll link all of like the everything everywhere. So
if you see me out on the 21st of June, the 23rd or 25th, I'm going to be steaming. So probably don't talk to me, because I'll be like, hello.
And if you see me anywhere, say that you know me from the podcast, and I'll probably like scream. I'll probably buy you a drink. I'll probably like tell you to sing Beyonce with me.
But I'm so ready to say, oh, you're the guy with time to talk. I will probably buy you a drink.
I'll get some shots. We can all be friends.
Shots. Ooh.
Yeah, but nice shots though. Like sours, they're not too bad.
Nah, I prefer an actual strong shot.
Yeah, but my body's not ready for that yet.
I've been on the piss a few times in London.
I haven't.
Going out on Saturday. See you at the Goose.
The one in Kingston?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit on.
Yeah.
You keep it in. Goose is shit on.
It's not a great club.
Yeah.
Let's be real. No offense to anyone who works at the Goose, but I ain't gonna. I'd be in there.
But we are. If you need us, honestly, hear some DMs in the comment section below. Instagram, Twitter.
Anywhere.
We haven't got a Facebook page, and I'm not going to get a Facebook page because that's for people who are old.
But yeah, as I said, if you need to speak to us, hit us up, and we'll be more than happy to.
I also gave my number out one of the podcasts. Don't tell them because they'll look for it.
Okay.
You can actually have my actual number and holler at me if you really need help with anything.
Yeah, you have to obviously watch the podcast, you can't just listen to it.
Yeah.
You put up a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you which episode it was.
But it sums it down because it's a visual one, you can see us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All the best. We shall see us. If we don't see us in a week, you'll see us for a window. See you later.
I'm too much on TikTok now. I've got to turn this thing off.
It means being built different, that was, you know.
I'm built different. Look at me. How do I turn this thing off? There. How do I turn this thing off?